Hello everybody, MegaZardX here, back at it again to give y'all another very exciting collection reflection video where I take the time out, just go through my whole entire gaming library. Could be a game, could be a limited edition, could be a console, but today we're going to be talking about none other than Metroid Fusion, because this game right here, man, if you want to talk about some excellent, sublime Game Boy Advance games, this is the definition of one right here though, because it was something about these Metroid games on the GBA that just kind of stand out. And honestly, I feel like these games age like a glass of fine wine. Say what you will about it. I mean, I went and played these games in the lead up to Metroid Dread right before that game released, and I still think they hold up to this very day though. So you know what, for this week, I figured I might as well go ahead and give all my thoughts of what I personally liked about Metroid Fusion, some things I personally didn't though, but how well this game kind of complements itself to the overall Metroid series as a whole though. But if you hadn't already done so, make sure you go and hit that like button, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video. So Metroid Fusion, this game right here, obviously I feel like it was probably around this point within the Metroid series where it was the turning point of where obviously, you know, Metroid is a Metroidvania, it's like a platformer if you will though, but obviously it's more so about traversing this whole entire 2D landscape and, you know, exploring whatever planet you happen to be upon. And it's more like a maze like atmosphere where it's like you really don't know exactly where you're going unless you check your map kind of constantly just to kind of find your way and navigate yourself through the planet, or in this game a space station that you're actually going through and traversing. And this game, I can't say how scary at times that this game made you feel. Like there was actually a little bit of I wouldn't say necessarily a horror, but more like a somebody's constantly peeking over your back every single minute though. And what I am referring to is none other than the SAX, because like one of the major antagonists of this game is the X parasite. While yes, not really that dangerous, like the little blob or whatever that happens to float across the screen, that in and of itself isn't super dangerous until they happen to get a host body. And you know, once they inhabit a host body, that's when it gets a little crazy and a little weird and a little funky though. Because remind you, towards the very beginning of this game though, you know, Samus herself happened to be infected by the X parasite while exploring one of the other planets and stuff, and you know, she had to, you know, get shipped off, you know, run off to the ER. I don't know what you would call like a space ER or whatever though, but essentially they had to, you know, get all of the parts off of her suit, off of her actual body. And in order to kind of fight against the X parasite, they had to give her like a little bit of like a fluid antidote of what is like Metroid DNA, because the Metroids, you know, they basically dominate over the X parasite, and then thus that's how Samus managed to, you know, combat that X parasite though. So now she's actually immune to this stuff though, but you know, every other kind of creature out there though, I mean, they're still kind of vulnerable to the X parasite. So hence that's like one of the reasons I believe the Federation was like, hey, you know what, go to this little space station over here though, we have some issues and stuff going down, but now that you're immune to this thing, you're the perfect candidate to go ahead and see what's going on behind the scenes and the reason why this station's kind of in trouble. And then lo and behold, the X parasites that were part of your suit, they managed to put the suit back together, and that's just known as the SAX. Now it's interesting because the SAX only shows up in certain segments of the game. It's pretty scripted and stuff, but it's not like it's always there, but it's the mindset of it always being there. It's, I think, that little fear factor that was introduced within the Fusion series and even rolled over into Metroid Dread, while you had mostly the Emmys and stuff that kind of took that role of the SAX from the first game though. But I don't know, something about that SAX, and yes, this was a GBA game though, but it was just something about it, because like there were certain moments where it was like obviously you're in a morph ball and like, you know, the SAX is walking across on top of you, or you're running away from it and barely getting into like a crack in a crevice and on the other side of a wall, and it just standing there and you just hearing the echoing footsteps going back and forth. It's like, please don't find me, because there's no way you can fight this thing, at least while you're underpowered though. And that's one of the good things that Metroid games in general happen to do time and time again. They're always souped up, powered up from the very get-go, and they strip you from everything, and you have to go through the whole entire game and, you know, get your morph ball ability or find your super missiles or your super bombs and stuff, and, you know, your screw attack and all these other different abilities that Samus had at the very beginning of the game and thus has lost though. And that's just a staple of basically every Metroid game, where you're talking about 2D Metroids or even 3D ones though. So yeah, that's some things I really do like about Fusion though, the enemies and stuff. And I do like how, even though most Metroid games, like if you look back at Metroid Fusion and stuff, it's pretty open and it doesn't really necessarily tell you exactly where you need to go. I mean, Metroid Fusion, it feels a little bit more linear at times though, because, you know, for some people out there, they might need that little bit of sense of direction. Like, it kind of gives you a general idea of where to go, because you're always talking to you know, one of those like computer AI assistant dudes, and he's always kind of referring and saying, hey, you need to kind of go over here to this part of the station and investigate what's going down over there. So you have a general sense of direction of where to go, but it's more so about finding how to get there though, because your map is not necessarily completely full at given times while you're going through and playing through this game though, but overall it's still great nonetheless though. So you know what, I do like the sense of that. It definitely gives you like a good sense of story direction, like, you know, exactly everything that's happening there though. And then obviously, you know, Samus is a silent protagonist, and you know, just being able to take in the world environments and stuff, and just looking at all these different creatures and stuff, and then looking in the backgrounds and stuff, because while yes, this is a space station, like you had a lot of different like ecosystems and stuff within like each section that you will go down into. And it was like, it's crazy how they were able to incorporate that much life within a given space station. And the space station wasn't even that big to begin with though, but somehow they managed to pull that mess off though. So it did feel like a pretty expansive world while still being on a spaceship, believe it or not though. So yeah, so overall, you know, those were some of the things I really did like and appreciate from Metroid Fusion though. It took a lot of aspects from basically Zero Mission, and this kind of built upon that. Overall, like the bosses were great. I mean, yes, you're going to be struggling against a few of them here and there though, but overall, you know, you just kind of put your time in and learn the boss patterns over and over and over. You'll eventually get it though. Like for some reason, that stupid machine thing that with big ugly face and stuff that just hovers around and stuff, I don't know why I was struggling on that boss quite a bit though, but I'm like, man, I hate that sucker though. I'm like, nah. You know, the revamped up Ridley like frozen over in the cage was kind of spooky though, but I kind of like that though as well. And then obviously the whole entire encounter with the self-destruction sequence that you get towards like the end of the game once you manage to beat the final boss was just definitely a chef's kiss right there though. So overall, I really did like Metroid Fusion. There are a few points in this game which, for y'all that happen to go through and play it, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about, in the sense that there are some sections, oh my goodness, if I remember what the actual sector of it was, but there was like one spot where it's like, okay, you know, you need to get from point A to point B, and you're just scratching your head like, how the heck you get there? I kid you not, there's like one block that was hidden behind some of the foreground background stuff. It was kind of hidden, but it's like you drop down a little avenue and you go where Samus can't really be seen, and then place a bomb there, and then it triggers out, you know, some little mini explosions and you can fall down. There's one section like that in the game, and I was banging my head up against the wall like, how in the world did you progress any further? Obviously, yes, there's going to be moments like that in any kind of Metroidvania game, or you might just have to look up something on YouTube though. I think that was like one of the moments that I think I will peg down from Metroid Fusion, because I don't think I necessarily experienced that while going through and playing, you know, Zero Mission. But at least in Fusion, I had a couple or few of those moments. That one in particular though, that definitely took it down a notch though. But overall, I really did love my time with Metroid Fusion, and by extension also Zero Mission, while I was just going through and trying to catch up on all of the 2D Metroid games that I haven't played, and the lead up to Metroid Dread. Like even now, you can actually check out my whole entire, you know, gameplay footage of me going from start to finish of me playing that game. It's here on the channel though. It's like one of my older streams though, if you were curious about looking and seeing, you know, my raw thoughts on it. It is available here on the channel though. But overall, I really love this game. It still holds up to this day though, and if you hadn't played played it, because I originally was going through and playing this via the Wii U Virtual Console at the time though, because this wasn't offered up on NSO, like the GBA wasn't on there though. But if you want to have a shot or crack at playing this game though, yeah, you can go ahead and play it on NSO if you happen to have the expansion pack. Go ahead and give it a try. You never know, you might actually like this game. I'm just saying though, but it does have my Zard stamp of approval though, so make sure to hop up on that if you hadn't already done so though. But that's gonna basically do it in terms of my collection reflection video for Metroid Fusion though. So if if you really like this game and you happen to have really fond memories of it, just drop down all of your thoughts down in the comment section down below. What all did you think about this game overall? But that's gonna basically do it for this video. So if you really like this, make sure you're gonna hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So remember y'all, until whatever video I make next, see y'all.